On the next episode of the Level Par podcast, I speak with Thomas Hackett. Thomas is the CEO of Platform Golf, and they are a mover and shaker in the indoor virtual golf space. Thomas talked about the growth of Platform Golf and the popularity of this indoor golf revolution that's really happening right in front of our eyes. And he also had a really good perspective on Level Par. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. Thomas, thank you so much for joining the podcast. We got connected like a month or so ago, and just through this crazy world of Instagram and golf, it's just a community that brings people together. You have a very unique company with Platform Golf, and let's get into that a little bit. But first off, like, how did you kind of take your role from technology and finance and kind of, start this company and move this Platform Golf thing forward?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I definitely was introduced to golf early in my life. My grandpa introduced me as a kid, and got into the world of finance after playing college golf. And it was fun because I got to play a lot of golf with prospective clients for my firm. And I also was the president of the Regional Golf Association in New York State at a young age, which was pretty cool. I got to serve on the New York State board adjacently. And it was very cool, and I always had a passion for golf. In my last business school class, I created a platform for golf, actually, as my business case as a 23-year-old or 24-year-old. And I always had a passion to get into it, was advised early on by a golf pro not to get into golf if I liked to play golf. So it was kind of like, all right, because I could have played as a PGA pro, and I had game, but I didn't have tour game, right? Sure. So it was interesting. I got into technology and ended up in venture in Dublin, and was helping a friend of mine. He didn't fit the bill of what the company was looking for from a venture perspective, but I knew how to coach entrepreneurs, and so I basically gave him somewhat free advice for a while to help him kind of rebrand his business. Sure. Built a new logo, and created the name Perfection Platforms, and it was really a lot of fun to bring my business acumen to a real golf product that was helping really, top tier pros and top tier players. The first platform ever of the Putting Perfection platform was built for Science in Motion by the U.S. rep of Science in Motion, which is like Sam Putt Lab. It was built for David Orr's Flat Stick Academy at Pine Needles in Pinehurst, and it had a pedigree to it, and Rob got the rights to sell it, and so I just helped him put a business wrapper around it, and that was pretty early on. Yeah.
So you were quickly able to so you were working outside of the golf industry for a while, and then moved into it. Like, how quickly did you did it feel like home a little bit because you'd grown up around the game?
Yeah, like getting a paycheck from golf is always kind of like a dream. Yeah. Always a dream, like to be getting a master's, paycheck. But at the end of the day, the dream evolves, and having an impact on the game is really cool. Like, there's some stories, like I did the deal for TaylorMade's Kingdom, and we in 2021 or 22 the number 1, 2, and 3 ranked players in the world, DJ, John Rahm, and Colin Morikawa, all got fitted on the platform. And when Rahm won the U.S. Open, I got a video of the fact that he figured out that he was no good at left to right putts. And then he makes, from the guy that runs the Kingdom, he's like, this is an incredible thing. It's like, figured out that he couldn't make left to right putts, and then dialed it in, and all of a sudden, later that year, with his new putter, new calibration, weighting, he makes 2 15-footers at Torrey to win the U.S. Open. So it was really cool to be bringing value to the game, and working in golf. It's kind of a dream job, to be perfectly honest.
That's great. So for people who aren't aware of what Platform Golf is, can you give us like a high level of what it is, and then we'll kind of go into all the things that you've got going on around it too.
Yeah. So Platform Golf is, our mission is to be the platform that transforms golf. And if you look at the stats right now of where golf's being played, it's being played, 55% of golf is actually being played off the course, whether that's in a simulator or at a Top Golf with applied technology involved, right? So platform originally was a putting platform, and we've evolved it now to be essentially multitude of that. So it's a putting platform forensically for some of the top fitters in the world. Toulon Putters uses us, Cobra's headquarters,
Sure.
TaylorMade's, and a lot more. But other than that, we also built a full swing platform because 96% of shots on a golf course are from uneven lies. So a lot of the coaches behind the scenes are now using our platform to create the same lies that you're going to see at Augusta this weekend. There's not a flat lie at Augusta. Having been there 5 times, it's crazy, right? So you just get no practice on that, though. If you go to a golf course or a driving range, all the practice areas are flat, you know? But golf courses are designed to be sloping because they don't want to have water pooling. So they always have collection areas and they're not on the fairway, right? So, so we've created ultimately a combination of those two now, which is our new True Slope platform that we unveiled at the 2025 PGA show, where it is a platform that starts at a flat lie for hitting off the tee, but then from there it doesn't stay flat at all. So it takes the LiDAR data from the simulator. So oftentimes when you're playing, you'll see you have an uphill shot or a downhill shot on the screen, but that you're still hitting off the mat, right? Our platform moves between shots to the exact position, whether it's the full swing or the putt. And what we were able to do was combine ball tracking technology that we co-built to essentially be able to track your putts on our platform. And our biggest platform is 22 feet at the back all the way to the screen. So you can create corner to corner on that platform about a 23, 24 footer. And with putts on tour, the stats are that 99% of putts are made from 15 feet and in. So we believe that, kind of like the F1 drivers, they get behind the wheel of simulation to train on the tracks. Now a lot of college programs, a lot of players, tour players are training on our platform to get ready for tournaments.
Yeah, for like specifically, like they can watch it on the screen, play the course, and then just almost know exactly where they're going to hit, where they're going to miss. I mean, you hear it in, what is it, like the NFL is using this kind of technology too, where the quarterbacks are kind of looking through a lens and they're like reading defenses. So why not in the golf world kind of use that to your advantage as well too? So that's so where would we find Platform Golf? Like, well, are we in individual houses, or are we in like these bigger like you think about like a Vanguard Golf or things like that? You're in these bigger areas where consumers are coming in and using your platform. Where is this kind of located at the moment?
Yeah, so right now we've got the new True Slope platform. We have hundreds of the putting platforms out there in the market, and I've mentioned a few of those OEMs and top coaches. But the actual True Slope platform, we unveiled a alpha at 2025, a concept model that we could apply the patents on. Those are all filed now, and we've got about 20 in the market right now with, it's up to like 25 now with this month. We're scheduled to put another 35 next month, 55. Like it's actually,
growing,
I mean, once we built it, we knew they would. We knew they would come, and we were able to announce at the 2026 show a partnership with TrackMan. So now, when you're playing your TrackMan sim, you can now practice, play, and have all the uneven lies and make putts as a part of your TrackMan experience, and that's going to be officially launched in June.
I mean, that's. I think we saw on Instagram you guys blew up with the TrackMan stuff, and how big of a moment was that for the company, and how long had you kind of like pinpointed this as like this is where we want to grow this and blow it up right here?
I mean, to say that that this wasn't a dream from when I got started with the company in 2015, I'd be lying, but I'd also be lying if I said I thought we'd have TrackMan as a partner, the number one technology company in the game of golf. I mean, I've been to a lot of tour events and been lucky enough to be behind the ropes with the coaches we work with and the partners we have. And TrackMan is in at least half of the hitting bays on each range you go to, if not more. And to have them see our vision and see our product in action, they saw it in 25. They asked us to make a bunch of changes, so we had to rebuild everything. Sure. It's a thrill, and the future's bright. So like anybody that has a TrackMan, they're going to be able to retrofit our platform into their space. So that's, 70,000 bays in the world. It's going to be a lot of work for us. So,
And as a small team, like this is a growing company.
Yeah.
Did you start here in Massachusetts, or like what are the origins of the
Yeah, so Binghamton, New York,
Okay,
actually is where the company was founded. I'm a native Binghamtonian. I moved up there when I was 11 and learned to play golf at the IBM kind of country club.
Sure.
It's not a country club, but it's a public course, Enjoy. And they have the Dick's Sporting Goods Open, used to have the BC Open there. That's where I met Rob Gibb, the guy that originally co-founded the company with Rory Flanagan and I. And it's a hot spot for golf in upstate New York, but we were able to, really form a cornerstone of our business there, did all of our kind of, friends and family stuff there, incubated it in a incubator there in Binghamton. I drove a lot back and forth from Boston to Binghamton on 90 to 88. It was like I could do it in my sleep. But it's my OG hometown, and I've got a ton of love for Binghamton, and now we're doing working on a partnership with other big sporting goods company from Binghamton, Dick's Sporting Goods. So,
are you? I mean, it seems like you're catching this moment in golf where it's like the off. Is it? Are we calling it indoor golf or is it off-course golf? Like, what is?
Yeah,
what is
so
the
like
best,
there's a lot
term
of people
for it?
that have different names for it.
Yeah.
The American CEO of Golf Zone called it screen golf the other day, and I was like, I hate the sound of that. But sometimes just the name anyway. But TrackMan calls it virtual golf. Off-course golf is maybe a little bit basic. Virtual golf, I think, is probably the simulated golf. It's whatever you want to call it. The reality is it's its own world of competition now. Yeah. And I think everyone I know so we had the idea right in 22 and 23. Sorry, 23 was when I kind of had the idea of really connecting them. And everybody that we talked to as we raised money with some professional investors and really incredible people that are now on our cap table and our team, everyone to a man, even people that passed on our offer, basically said, putting in simulated golf sucks. And use that word. I'm not trying to be crass. And they said, if you guys can figure this out, we're in. So we have, weirdly enough, when we built the Kingdom platform at TaylorMade, the guy that owned TaylorMade at the time, his private equity firm is a guy named David Shapiro. And he is now our largest individual investor in platform golf because of the success that they had there, but also we just got on very well. And so we have some really cool backers involved in this company. And we're growing now, kind of faster than we could have ever. Well, we planned it, but you always plan something, and it's kind of like, a lot of things have to happen for this to work out this way, like any venture. But it's become real, and it's really exciting.
And where do you think the virtual golf is going to like head in the future? I mean, are we only going to grow it even more?
Big time. Yeah. So think about it like this. Number one golf market for simulated golf in the world is Korea. And they have 650 golf courses. We have 17,000 in America. In Korea, they have 8,200 off-course corporate golf courses. Like, so off-course, you said Vanguard, A-Game Golf, these type of places.
Big warehouses that are like...
Yeah, exactly. In America, we have 2,400 and 17,000 golf courses. So there's a huge, what they call in finance, an arbitrage there, meaning like if we can create the right gamification and the right competitions, not only can you go in and play in those kind of, corporate structures, but you're also going to be able to play in your own home against friends around the world. It doesn't have to even be in America or locally. You can literally tap in. And one of the other things that we're building out that we're really excited about is we have right around 14 of the top 50 pros in the world that are part of our advisory board and cap table. And they are what's coming in the end of the third quarter. We're going to be releasing Platform Studios with Platform Academy, which will allow you to essentially take lessons from Brad Faxon, Claude Harmon, Stephen Sweeney, Darren May, like all guys that are at Augusta right now teaching on the range that are really a part of our whole vision. Because I wanted to, a lot of technology companies in golf actually they partner with these advisors. Some of them maybe early give them one or two guys equity, but I wanted to have a partnership with the people that really are the stars behind the stars.
Yeah. So like you're almost creating like almost like a master class to like meet with like pros and give a teaching lesson, which is
100%.
Like, I mean, I think about, you know, if you had a putting platform and Brad Faxon is over your shoulder and a virtual screen, he's also teaching Rory McIlroy, like, you know, that's pretty
compelling.
And Brad was also part of the announcement, I think.
Yeah, I was on the stage with Brad, Sean and Mike from Athletic Motion Golf, who have 1 million subscribers. And David Orr, the kind of godfather of teaching putting to pros, as well as Erica Larkin, and and Stephen Sweeney, obviously. Yeah. Stephen's like one of the best putting coaches in the world as well. And I mean, like, I'm Thomas Hackett. Like, I don't have any level of the credibility that they have. I just have a really good idea, and we have a great product now, and now the world wants it. So those guys have flocked, and they believe in where this is going. So it's pretty cool. It's validating for sure.
Well, I think it's also interesting that, you know, we're sitting in a home studio of, I think you said this gentleman's a 10 handicap, but you're also having, like, you know, the best players in the world, like, using the platform as well too. So it's not just a platform for the golfer who is playing in the Masters as well. It's really like an opportunity for you to get better.
100%.
You know, are you finding stories from people who are using, you know, your using platform golf and just like improving their game in so many ways? And
so we're in Dr. John Wignersron's house right now. He's my neighbor. I don't have the ceiling height that he has, but working on getting my ceiling on the basement lowered. It's a process, but it's working on it. Anyway, the studio was built here because John's son fell in love with the game, and he fell in love in the process about 4 years ago. And John, like, his son literally played almost every day, and ultimately never played any competitions outside until his like a month before trying out for the Wellesley JV team. And kid you not, he had played one green grass event, then he shot 40, 42, 41 to make the Wellesley JV team as a freshman, which is kind of unheard of in golf, you know. So, and 3 of the top 5 juniors in the world right now learned on screen golf. Or virtual golf, or
I mean, it's also kind of like leveling the playing field for people in the Northeast, right? If you think about it, like,
big time.
How many pros are potentially going to come out of the Northeast now that maybe didn't have the opportunity? They had to leave. They had to go somewhere. You think about, like, when I first started reporting on sports, it was like Keegan was the first one that won a major. You know, then Michael Thornby Bjornsson was like kind of playing in the MGA stuff and making it to the finals.
He also went to IMG when he got good enough.
Right, exactly. So but he had to kind of leave to go take his game to the next level. I just feel like with your platform and the ability to play shots and not just off a flat surface is like, it's a no-brainer.
Well, especially if we can start giving people that made putt feeling in competition environments, because then you're really upping all of your game. If you're just hitting off a flat lies into a net or a screen and getting the data, that can make you really good really fast, because data drives the golf swing. If you make a change in your swing, it could feel good, but you could be fanning it and having a 1.1 smash factor, and you're not actually hitting it good. It just feels kind of good. Well, but the point is, like, if you have the data, you can know how far you actually hit it, what your path is, what your club head speed is, and you can work to improve those metrics with the actual coaching that we can now provide to you from, like I said, some of the best in the world coming into your house. Or, like, just think about like this, like the Peloton model was to take spin cycle instructors and essentially turn them into stars. We're taking stars and essentially giving them a platform.
And giving them access to just regular folks who are like
100%.
In love with this game as well too.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think that story you talked about, the kid who was able to kind of transition his game and then make a team. Like, what does that impact mean to you as a CEO and a business owner? And that's not going to be the only kid that is going to go basically live out a dream of playing high school golf, or like maybe playing in a tournament somewhere. Like you're making a true impact into the sport. Like, that must feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. I think we all as a company, we're a company, right? So we're driving at quarterly targets, we're driving at product development, we're driving at logistics and all the challenges that go along with being a company. But what we're really lucky enough to get is gratitude on stories. So you talked about Michael Thorby Bjornsson. He works with Stephen Sweeney as a putting coach. Like, when he's up near the top of the leaderboard, we're like so excited because he Ludwig Aberg works with Stephen. Like, a lot of that is like the top of the game. But then 100% A number of coaches, Bernie Najar just got named the 2026 PGA Coach of the Year, and he coaches Kyle Berkshire. He coaches Brian Kim, who's like one of the top 3 amateurs in the world. Like, we get to really feel like a part of the team, even though we're not like directly a part of the team. The coaches and the players obviously are the real CEOs of that world. But we do have an element like that makes a huge difference. Like, we couldn't do anything without our manufacturer. We couldn't do anything without our marketing firm. We couldn't do anything without our various different partners. So it takes a team.
Yeah, I mean, you even hear about that when a guy wins a golf tournament. Like, they don't just talk about the shots that they hit.
They don't.
They're like, it took my whole team, and that means it took the family. It took this, it took that. But like, they have somebody looking at their putting. They have somebody looking at their swing. There's just a lot more that goes into this game than maybe what used to be. And I mean, I think it's only going to get more swelled in that kind of way, where people are going to find new avenues to work in this game, and you're opening that up. And the fact that you're growing a company too, you're going to be able to offer people like careers and jobs in this field as well. So it's an exciting time over at Platform for sure.
Yeah, it is, and it's cool because I worked under 3 pretty hard driving and superstar CEOs to help them build their businesses. On their various different C-suites, and now to be the leader, it's a lot of pressure. But the effects and the number of platforms. I mean, we're on target to do 400 new golf studios, if not more, this year, and the brands and people that we're working with, that's only going to triple next year, and with TrackMan and even beyond. So the stories are going to be told over the next few years, and it's going to get better and better. And ultimately, what we're working on behind the scenes can't go into too much detail on, but I'd like to think that we'll have some state championships on our combined product with TrackMan in the coming years, because it is too good of an experience. Like, once you experience it, you're like, whoa, this is simulated golf. This is like the simulator. The actual flight simulator was created in Binghamton, New York, believe it or not. And it's wild, actually. Link Field, Edwin A. Link created the flight simulator. And so we, I think, are creating the evolution of the golf simulator. It's an unlock, if you will. 30 years, same stuff. Flat mats, flat screens. The graphics have gotten better. The software development's been improved. But the reality is, as I think we all can agree, putting sucks, and uneven lies are not really a part of the game right now. And so, just watch Augusta this weekend, and you'll see uneven lies on just about every shot, every green, for sure.
Yep, and it doesn't do it justice on TV. So
no, exactly.
Obviously, as the field is kind of going in this direction, and you're going in this direction, what are you hoping that the future is for Platform Golf, and what are you kind of maybe thinking like 4 or 5 years out down the line?
I think that's a great question. Can't let too many cats out of the bag, but like on the product roadmap, like, we're going to keep getting better. Like I said, really creating a new pillar of competition in golf. So we want, TrackMan's done a great job with that. Golf Zon has done some good stuff in Korea, but like, the reality is that if we can create a hyper-realistic tournament series that is recognized by the golf's governing bodies, then we've really had an impact on golf. Because right now, and you made a mention of upstate New York / Massachusetts, like, we don't get to compete for 5 months of the year outside, right? 6 months of the year, really. And the reality is, as a junior golfer, you are falling behind the competition big time. It doesn't matter how much work you put into a net. If you don't have the ability to compete, you don't get that buzz, you don't get that same kind of real competitive feel, you're just not getting the same kind of, reps that the kids down south are. And I think that we're going to really level the playing field. And I think you'll be surprised to see like people like Ludwig Aberg, who did the same thing in Sweden with simulation, are going to essentially have a level playing field for the first time, ever.
I mean, it's truly growing the game. That's what growing the game actually means.
Big
it's
time.
not like it's, I think there are a lot of places that have said, we're looking to grow the game, but this actually does it. Because, like, think about, like, you and I being up here in Massachusetts. We can't touch a putter that actually, means something, and then we go out and play today, and it's like, it's off. Like, there's something, and for guys who, like, love to play golf, and women who love to play golf, it's like, we want that simulation of, like, knowing that I'm playing in a match. It's 17th hole. We're 2 down. Like this putt means something. And if I could do that from home, like that's a game changer.
Well, nothing beats the real thing,
Right,
I think. But the reality is that for practice and for a new version of competition, yeah, I definitely think that what you said is exactly right. And I think if you think about the club that we played today, they have a 6 to 10 year wait list, you know? So like if I have the means, but I live in the neighborhood, I can't join there. So it allows me to build this in my house. And a big thing that we haven't even talked about is the fact that, you know, as a new parent myself, I've got, you know, my second coming soon. We don't, like the screen addiction is a thing. So software is an amazingly attractive thing to the eye and to the, you know, brain. And so if we can create a way of getting kids off screens and onto a screen that actually allows them to use biomechanics and work out. You hit golf balls for an hour, that's a real calorie burning session. If you sit on an iPad and doom scroll for an hour, there's no calories burned. You know, it's actually calories intake is what I do when I'm scrolling. Exactly.
No, I think that's, you know, we played today, you're stick. Like, you know,
Thank you.
but like, you know, what was your competitive, you know, career like? And then, I mean, obviously, as an athlete, it always comes to an end at some point, right? Like you transition to something else. But it sounds like you had a pretty promising, you know, at least junior career, and then moving into high school and college as well too. Yeah,
my high school career, you know, it's very interesting. Golf was my golf was my drug, right? Like I loved it as a kid. My mom would drop me off at like at the age of 12. She'd drop me off at the course and pick me up. She'd drop me off on the way to work, pick me up at the end of the day. I'd play 36 or 45 holes a day. I was obsessed. Now it helped that I was inspired by my grandfather and all of his contacts, my uncles and my, you know, my family. But inspired. It was all like I was playing and I loved it. I got pretty good in high school. Won the section when I was like 16 or 15. Was our team was you know we're still in the hall. I'm still in my high school Hall of Fame, right? But when I kind of got into the we'll call it the dark arts of partying in high school, and so by the time I got to college, I didn't really go anywhere to try to play golf. I went to have a college experience. I got in early at South Carolina because I had a decent SAT score, and I just got an early acceptance scholarship. And I was like, I'll just go there. It'll be great. It'll be fun. And it didn't work out. I tried to walk on the team, and they kind of laughed at me. They're like, this is the SEC. What are you doing? And that put me into a dark place. I didn't really have an identity. I don't think in terms of like outside of golf. I was Mr. Golf in my high school. I was like all state, blah, blah, blah. And I went down there and was kind of just like laughed at a little bit. Not laughed at. I was not in a mindset to play golf. I was more in a mindset to party. And so yeah, when I stubbed my foot, I basically took some time off of golf. Took some time off of school and did some dirty jobs, you know, and I called it property management on my LinkedIn, you know, when I was a kid, putting my profile together. But I was like moving washers and dryers and shoveling crap, you know, and cleaning up kitchens and dining rooms to be ready for next party to move in. And it was like, you know, getting paid cash and being, I realized like I wasn't going to do this the rest of my life. And I also I had taken some time off of competitive golf, and it reignited my fire. So went back to junior college for a year to get my life back on track. And in that 1 year, connected with my team in a junior college in New York, and we all were kind of like bad news bears. And you know, to the point where one of the kids that made the team flunked off the team and is now back in golf right now, a superstar. But we had 5 players on a 6-man team, and you can't write this stuff up. But yeah, I ended up lucky enough to be on a team that finished 4th in the nation as a team, and I finished 3rd individually, was first team All-American, and got a D1 scholarship after that. So like it was really a big part of my like, and obviously at that point in my life, I put down the party lifestyle and really refocused on just just golf, and I loved the battles that were going on throughout. I think about it as you, but I know that it's not you per se. But like the main character in Level Par, it was really fun to get inside the head, even though it's I don't want to ruin the story, but even though it's one hole, like it was a really cool backtrack on the life, and golf is crazy like that. You can go a lot of places in one hole.
What's your kind of relationship with the game now? Is it like, is there a
it's a good question.
It's a when you get to a certain level, you want to maybe pursue it in this kind of way, and then if it doesn't work out that way, you can go into some dark areas. But I feel like, and a lot about the book about Level Par is like just finding a new relationship to this game and figuring out how to have a better time with it, but also you might actually improve by having a better relationship with it.
So I think it's a great question. It's one I could talk for an hour about. You can already tell I'm short story long, but the reality about golf is that if you're a 15 handicap, you could set a goal at the beginning of the year to become an 8 handicap and play in competitions accordingly. And you always do well going down on a handicap, right? Yep. And like in 2020 in COVID, I had gone out to scratch 0.0, and by the end of COVID, when I was just like everything was shut down for like 6 months, 7 months, I got back to +3, and I was like, it was just so healthy, and I really look forward to being able to, after this launch goes on, eventually reprioritizing my practice. I love practice. It's super therapeutic. I think it's like a lot of the stuff in your book was like classic about that childhood zest to be the best. It's not impossible to try to be your best version of yourself in golf at any age. So I love that about the game, and resetting expectations and trying to improve incrementally based on wherever you're at. That's the thing about golf. It's very honest. You can't lie about your current position, because you're going to have to write numbers on the scorecard.
Exactly.
But hard work and consistent hard work leads to actual performance, and that's a life lesson that is hard to understate.
Because I actually quit golf for like 10 years basically, and like I play in the occasional scramble, and then it was COVID that I started chipping in my living room, and I started putting in my living room, and I was going to write Level Par from that perspective of like, COVID was the launching point, but I think everybody's just sick of it, and I didn't want to write a book about it. So like I kind of shifted it to write about these really personal things, and two of my buddies almost passed away from like accidents, and like so I used that kind of like narrative to get him to move in the direction and start thinking about these things. And so it does. It imitates life in so many ways, and the fact that this game can be a constant in your life is, and the fact that it can bring people together. Like you and I didn't meet until about a month and a half ago.
For sure.
When you can try and make a life and a career in this game, like it's very rewarding.
Exactly. And what happens is for me is that golf, it's like it's a perfect kind of binary equation in most cases. If you're in a good headspace personally, and if you put in the hard work in golf, even if you're in a bad space, but you can put in like work and get out of your head and just do something that you get better at, it's just a great way to build.
I think it's a good place to kind of end there.
Perfect.
Where can people go to learn more about platform golf and the things that you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, we've got all the social channels, but I would say, check us out. Check our website out, platformgolf.com, and Platform Golf on Instagram. So those are more to come very soon.
We're excited. Yeah, thanks, Thomas.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Awesome. That was awesome.
Yep.